is Oliver, and today we are going to be doing a tier list. My first ever tier list on the YouTube channel. This is going to be super exciting. The book of Boba Fett has come to a close. So today we're going to be doing a tier list ranking all the episodes. This is very exciting because I have never done a tier list before on the YouTube channel, and I've seen other people do it. So without further ado, let's do this. I've already done a book of Boba Fett video, my review of the first 3 episodes. Go check that video out, and so I won't be talking about the first 3 episodes as much. And also, before we begin, I think we should name the tiers. The D tier is going to be called bad because it has the letter D in it. And C, I know is disappointing. I know it doesn't have a C in it, but the most disappointing episode, the big disappointment of the show. So we should be calling that disappointment. And the B is in the middle. Because the episode that's like both good and bad. The one that has the good stuff, the good stuff, but also the bad stuff. So in the middle. I know it doesn't have a B in it, but. And A is a good episode. C, surprise. The biggest surprise of the show. An episode I wasn't expecting going to be the best episode of the show. Alrighty, so let's start with episode 1. Now, like I said in my previous Book of Boba Fett video, I think it was a good episode. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I think it was a good episode. That like people on Twitter said that it was going to be like a big surprise, that you shouldn't spoil it. But like, if you're having too high expectations, then you might not like this episode. But if you don't have too high expectations, you will. I think you will like this episode. And I think it was a good episode. There were scenes I liked in this episode, like Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc pit. It was very cool to see, and some action scenes and some parkour and stuff was cool. So yeah, a good episode. So my opinion hasn't really changed on it since my last video. So I put it in a good episode tier. Okay guys, now we're moving on to chapter 2, which I think is yet another good episode of the show. My opinion hasn't really changed on it as well. So I think it's a good episode. I like that they mixed up. They had fun with the flashback and present time of this episode, and I like the Wookiee in the present time, and I love the train action scene in the flashbacks, and the seeing Boba Fett training Tuskens was pretty cool. And a good end to the episode, and some really good action, some cool action scenes. The action scenes are superior to the ones from episode 1. Now episode 3 is an episode that is a mixed bag. I think is in the middle, because it's like I said in my previous video that it was the best episode so far, but I sort of feel like an idiot for saying that, because like it's sort of like a half good episode. That in this episode Boba Fett got a rancor, a new rancor, which was awesome, and also the Wookiee attacked him in the bacta tank, and that was an epic and awesome action scene. It was fighting against pigs, and yeah, it was really cool. But at the same time, you may think it's the best episode so far, but then you realize that this is the episode where also the episode where you get introduced to the teenagers. The Tuskens get killed in this. Like that's I didn't like that, because like in the previous 2 episodes they have introduced Tuskens as characters. Like Boba Fett is like, I need an army. He already has an army, but now the army he had gets like obliterated. Like, come on, man! These are characters that you've been introduced to, and now they're just killed off. And then he still, after they've been killed off, he's like, still though, I need an army. Like, it's so stupid, man. Whose idea was it for the teenagers? Alright guys, now we're moving on to episode 4, and I think episode 4 was a surprise because number 1, like I said, Mandalorian music was awesome, and seeing the Slave 1 in action shooting against the biker gangs, that was satisfying to watch. And yeah, a really good episode overall, a good ending that made me excited for the next episode. So a really good episode overall. Alright, episode 5, it was real. I think it's a good episode. It was really cool to see the Mandalorian again, but I think it was a good Mandalorian episode, but it really felt out of place in the book Boba Fett. And it was weird. It was strange that it's really weird that my personal favorite episode of the Mandalorian is the episode S where Boba Fett appeared in season 2, episode 6, and now the best episode, one of the best episodes in the book Boba Fett is when the Mandalorian appeared. It sort of feels weird. And I love there were scenes I liked in this episode. I love the opening action scene when he's using the Darksaber. I liked him training with the Darksaber, and I also liked to see the Mandalore destroyed. K2SO destroyed Mandalore. I'm a bit upset. I think it was a good episode. It was better than chapter 2. Yeah, it was a good episode, but it felt out of place in the book Boba Fett, and Boba Fett really should have been in the episode. I mean, they really should have done that after the opening action scene. Boba Fett would have sent to Mando like, "I need your help." Like that should have happened. That's what I thought was going to happen. That should have happened, because like I don't understand why why they don't save this stuff for the Mando season 3. It feels weird. Alright guys, episode 6 was it was the most disappointing episode of the show, because it felt very rushed, and like the cameos, don't get me wrong, it's really cool to see Cobb Vanth, Cad Bane, and the de-aging of Luke Skywalker was awesome. Baby Yoda is adorable, but like it felt just rushed, and like it was disappointing not seeing barely anything from Boba Fett, because he was barely in the last episode. So it felt very rushed, and yeah. And it didn't really earn the cameos, like I said. They really should have saved this stuff for Mando season 3, and it felt very rushed. Alright guys, the last episode, chapter 7 of the book of Boba Fett, and it was a big surprise for me. It's easily the best episode of the entire show for me, because seeing Boba Fett riding the Rancor, it was a good payoff, because in episode 3 he said that he really wanted to ride his Rancor, but then now episodes later he's riding on the back of a Rancor. It's so awesome and epic. The Rancor eat people, and he's climbing up on a building like King Kong. It's so epic and awesome. And seeing Mandalorian and Boba Fett teaming up in the end, that was so epic and awesome. The big battle that was going on in this episode was so good, and Cad Bane and Boba Fett fighting each other, that was so good. Don't get me wrong, there are complaints with this episode, like it was rushed in some scenes, and the previous episodes did a poorly job at setting this up, but still though. And also it makes no sense that Cad Bane said that Boba Fett and Cad Bane had been enemies for a long time, but now this is the first time we see both of them on screen in this show, so it was very rushed. And I like that Fennec is on the thumbnail of the episode, and she was badass in this episode, especially when she killed the Pikes in the ending. That was epic and awesome. Anyways guys, that was my tier list of the Book of Boba Fett season 1. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. I think the book of Boba Fett is a one-off. This show was very rushed overall. Episodes 3 and 6 felt very rushed, and yeah, I was disappointed with the show overall. But I'm very happy that I loved the finale so much. It was epic and awesome to see the Rancor and stuff. I don't think I can recommend you to watch this show other than that last episode with the Rancor. Watch the last episode, and yeah, you will be happy. And do you agree with my tier list ranking? Let me know in the comments down below. Check out some of my other Star Wars videos, and I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. This is the way.